Akoma greetings, family. What do you think is more important to have in relationships? The will to love or the skill to love? Many people believe that having the skill having the will, pardon me, is the most important thing to have. And I vehemently disagree. In fact, I even say that if you develop skill progressively, like if you keep going in love and in a relationship and your skill gets stronger and stronger, what actually happens is your will gets stronger and stronger. But the reverse is not true. The inverse is not true, meaning that if your will is high but your skill is low, and you go out there and you quote unquote try and you quote unquote guess and you quote unquote see how it goes, and you begin to make mistakes that are costly and hurtful and wasting of time, then what actually happens is your skill is low, so you're making mistakes, and then naturally your will begins to decline. You become more and more apprehensive, you become more and more doubtful, and you become more and more reluctant to even pursue or start or even say what you're feeling, because your skill for communication, your skill for harmonizing styles, your skill for resolving conflict is not high, as well as other things. Building intimacy, having sex properly. Yes, a lot of people think that they have great sex because they like what they do, but just because you like what you do doesn't mean that you're having great sex. So when we look at all of these dynamics, really what becomes clear to most people's logic when they look at it objectively is that you really got to have skill to build a relationship. And when you really think about this deeply, you're understanding why so many people are having a hard time with relationships, because they actually got the will. They want a relationship to work. They want to be in a relationship, but they don't have the skill. And so a mantra that we say at the Acoma House Initiative culturally based counseling and consulting firm is that you gotta have skill over will. In fact, we believe it so much that this is the whole central understanding of our work. Developing skills. We have three pillars of service that we offer, but right under those three pillars of service is or right above them, or the three pillars are holding up, I should say, the development of skill or skill development. Because if you don't have skill, you're dead in the water. And so we have identified, after 25 years of service, we have identified 7 primary skills. There are many skills within these 7, but these are the primary skills that you are going to need to have a happy, healthy, and harmonious relationship. And they are: number 1, life and love purpose, knowing why you're together and what your life is about, and then why you're with the person you're with through the phases of your relationship. Number 2, you got to have conscious courting. For single people, this is selecting, vetting, and committing to a mate. But for mated and married people, this is building a community around you that gives your relationship distinction, perspective, and the gas to keep going, growing together so that you don't grow apart. Number 3, 3D communication. You gotta have 3D communication. Without 3D communication, you're dead in the water. Number 4, you gotta harmonize styles. And I think we all know and learn through experience that men and women are very different, and this offends us, this annoys us, etc. But this is divine. This is the way our universal intelligence created the manifestation of what we call man and woman to be complementary. The word complementary is most synonymous with the word opposites, but we don't use that word opposite because that word represents the root word oppose, right? So men and women are complementary, more like a puzzle piece, not opposite like night and day. We can't coexist at the same time. So we got to be able to harmonize styles because we are we are really different in our nature, and that's okay. We're not made to be alike. We're actually made to be together. Very revolutionary concept to a lot of people. Number 5, we got to have intimacy and sex, and we got to be really good at sharing emotional intimacy, and let that be the pathway to mind-blowing sex. We use our physical body and try to blow somebody's mind with some acrobatic tricks, but we don't really have the emotional intimacy, and we become devastated when we've done all the tricks that we know, or we've given our best physical effort, and then somebody is not emotionally connected to us, and they have no loyalty, or they don't value the 8 tricks in the bag that you got, right? So we gotta have intimacy and sex. Finally, the last 2, we gotta resolve conflict, because conflicts come up all the time, and we gotta build a power couple love legacy. So these 7 skills: life and love purpose, conscious courting, 3D communication, harmonizing of styles, intimacy and sex, resolving conflict, and a power couple love legacy, are what we call the Akoma soul, super soul mate skills, right? These are the skills that you need to build a soulmate legacy. Now, there's many skills within the 7 skills, but these are the general skills. And I think anybody who's highly trained in relationships, or just highly experienced in one, will agree that all of these are extremely important if you're going to have a healthy, happy, and harmonious relationship. So we got to get out of this mind state that we just need the will to love, or this time we're really serious. A lot of people go almost insane because they failed a couple of times, and this 3rd, 4th, 5th, or 12th time, they're really, really serious. Their will to succeed is high, but they still don't have the skill. And because they don't have the skill, they're not functional, they're not effective, they're not efficient, they're not elegant, meaning effectiveness is meaning that you can get to what it is you want to get to, and you can execute it exactly. Being efficient is you don't waste a lot of your time or someone else's time. We have limited lives, and life is short is an old axiom. You don't want to waste time on something that doesn't take a long time. And then they're not really elegant. They have no style, no swag, no flavor that is unique and beautiful, that really separates them from the pack. When you develop skills, especially when you work with us, our whole specialty is about doing something effectively, efficiently, and elegantly in a way that you don't have to lose time at your job. You don't have to waste time in years of therapy or months of therapy, and you don't have to sacrifice your sense of self, whether that is your individual personality or your cultural identity, which is missing in 98% of all relationship coaching and counseling that's out there. We are not speaking to the true nature of our people the way we were created to be, and through our cultural value system that we emanate wherever we find ourselves on the earth. This is what we specialize in. This is what we're offering. We have our premier relationship counseling and coaching program called Akoma Soul, which is an acronym, SOUL, for Self and Others Understanding Love. And it's an 8-week program where we go through all of the skills, and we have lessons and implementation calls. We have a community to help you learn all of this when you come out. Not only do you have an enriching experience and a community to develop with, not only do you have these 7 skills, you have the ultimate confidence to deal with anything that comes your way. Problems come up, you can deal with them effectively, efficiently, and elegantly. You want to harmonize styles, you can do it effectively, efficiently, and elegantly. You want to communicate and have difficult conversations, whether it's sex talk, working out problems, being investigative in your conversation, being aspirational in your conversation, We're going to show you how to do all of that and not lose your sense of self. You don't have to become somebody else to be in a relationship. You become somebody else through self-development, but what you share is a product of that self-development. You don't have to, quote unquote, change yourself just because you love someone, but you do have to grow. So in that way, you do add on to yourself, but you don't change your core values. And that's part of life and love purpose, understanding your identity and who you are. So if you want support around these 7 things, if you want to build your love legacy by building your skill, listen, I'm telling you, if you're not going to build your skill, everything is guesswork. And you're going to go out here and you're going to get with somebody and take this us against the world approach and sit on an emotional, psychological, and sociological island. And before you know it, you'll kill each other on that island. Or your love, your will certainly die. I challenge you. Put skill development in a heavyweight championship against will development and watch that skill beats will every time. So if you want to learn how to develop your skill, get with us so we can talk to you about Akoma Soul and help you to develop the Akoma Soul Super 7 Soulmate skills so that you can master the art and science of Black love culture and win at your intimate love relationships. That's our ultimate goal. That's what our work is out here in the world. And if you're interested, then we would love to serve you. So click the link, reach out, and until we speak to you again, as always, we're greeting you in the universal words of the art and science of Black love culture and saying, Nia Akoma.